right. Goodness, that angle is crazy, y'all. But we started late, but we're still faster than the buffering for the Paul Tyson fight. I think some people are still waiting for that one to finish downloading. um, Happy Friday, everybody. Hang in there while I adjust this. Yeah, yeah. We our adopted gave us a call and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's broadcast night." I'm like, "Yeah, it is, dude. I gotta get off the phone." But yeah, this was still faster than that fight last Friday. I'm sure you guys have heard stories by now about how crazy the buffering was and how many people ended up sitting there seeing that little spiral buffering like for
forever.
Ever. Yeah. Yeah, so much for a live event, but okay, yeah. For some reason, I was trying. I bumped the webcam, and then I had to readjust it. And well, I don't know. I think part of the reason why it looks the way it does, I look at like the plane of the table, but because it's in perspective, you kind of have sort of a forced line, like with the top of the shrine. So, hopefully you can see, we have Sekhmet center stage and Jehuti just off to the side because we're doing a Feast of Drunkenness, as would have been recorded in the calendar at Edfu.
Why am I sober?
Well, we're observing symbolically because, really I think there would have been a lot more involved with it than just, let's all get schnockered. Because comparing with what they found from the Temple of Mut at Karnak, people would wait overnight. There would be partying and stuff overnight, and then they would wait till the wee hours of the morning, and they would await the arrival of the goddess. And it kind of makes me think of a tradition that you have in certain parts of Egypt during Ramadan, where they would have people drum like before sunrise to wake everyone up so they could have that last meal before sunrise when you had to, because during the day you would fast. And I wonder if there's echoes of that. That's echoes from older festivals, and maybe during the Feast of Drunkenness there was something where people were waiting, and there would have been folks playing drums and doing things before sunrise to announce the return of the goddess. That's my theory. So this is an abbreviated form because we can't stay up all night and do the rest of it, but it might be something fun to do sometime.
Only because we've got to get up early and do stuff tomorrow.
Yeah.
Otherwise we would be getting loaded.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, toast. I tell you what, guys, we'll save what we have, and I've got a little bit of coffee here. Actually, this is something that I picked up out of sheer train wreck syndrome, which was it was a Jim Beam vanilla bourbon something or other coffee.
I still haven't had a cup of that.
I'll fix you one after service. I don't know. It's a flavored coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have any booze in it.
Right. It's just flavored, Dennis Leary has a whole routine about coffee-flavored coffee.
Yes, and he's right.
Yes. Yeah. And I won't repeat the rest of it because we're trying to stay G-rated.
Yeah.
But it's worth looking up. So we'll toast with that. So
I think that was his Lock and Loaded concert.
Yeah, and okay, Deadeye Coffee, which you were asking about the fight. Yeah, basically you had Jake Paul, the YouTube guy, had a boxing round with Mike Tyson, and you got a lot of people saying that there was something in the contract or this or that, because you look at Mike Tyson and he didn't look like he was at his best, and
he looked like he was in better shape than Jake Paul too. That's what got me.
I I don't know. It was really hard to tell, but it's just that he was not as fast on his feet, and so it wasn't the kind of exciting thing that a lot of us were expecting. And when you consider that he'd gotten sick earlier in the year, I'm thinking, maybe they should have, if they had postponed it a little bit to let him get, a little better, might have been a different outcome. But you never know. The more money there is riding on something like that, the more, you have to wonder if there are vested interests in who wins and who loses. And that's what makes it less fun, because, it should be about, may the best man win. But, so it goes.
The next fight I want to see is
someone
Jake Paul
taking a
versus
fall,
Vince
yeah.
McMahon.
I mean, that's one of the differences between boxing and professional wrestling.
Okay, and I'm just saying, Shiba's, something about, don't know anything about it, distillation. Yeah. Well, another thing, the distilling process did not exist in ancient times, so, okay. Offering distilled liquors is it's a modern thing, so if you were trying to go total recon, you'd have to stick to beer or wine, but that's okay. Even the gods pick up new tastes for things. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started.
Like chocolate.
Yeah. Yes, and Darren is back with us.
Yay, cool waters.
Now,
I was here last Friday, wasn't it?
no, you weren't. Because last Friday was
that
the
was
fight.
the fight.
Yeah, last Friday was the fight.
I could have been here. I wouldn't have missed a damn thing.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. If you had been here, you wouldn't have missed anything.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Well, I will say this. In fairness, though, the boxing match between the two women,
that was war.
Yeah, that was if you can appreciate anything about boxing, that was the sort of thing you could put like the score to a Rocky movie to that one, and it would have fit. Yeah. But. Oh, yeah, and that's another fun tidbit is we have met the two gentlemen that composed and performed the score for Rocky IV. So those of you that know that one.
One of them's from my hometown.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. These cool waters are upon my hands. They purify me. As Tefnut purifies me. Hail unto you, O you Natchuru. We come unto you without falsehood and without evil. Our purity is upon our hands.
Jesus!
Our purity is within our hearts. And we cast out all evil that pertains to us. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure. You okay? What happened?
My shoulder.
Oh. I will have you know, I went to the tap and got warm water to put in here to try to help you out. And apparently it did not help. Was it this one?
Next time, put ice cubes in it. See if there's a difference.
I don't know. But, we're going to have to ask Sekhmet for some healing for you because that shoulder is. You know what? I wonder if a rice buddy might help you out.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Does he have a sore shoulder?
Yeah, it's been sore all day. So
And I know what aggravated it.
What?
I was using my reacher to unstrap that bottom strap.
Oh, okay. It might be strained.
Yeah, it's straining all the little muscles instead of the big ones. But
yes, the women's match was crazy.
I've been spoiled. I go with a therapy, and they use this. It's basically a sander on my back.
Well,
it's basically a buffer thing.
Well, I tell you what. One thing I can suggest, and this is good for anybody. Take an old tube sock and just some dry rice and put it in that sock and tie it off. You can zap it in the microwave for about a minute and a half, and it gives you it retains heat really well. It's a nice moist heat, and it's excellent for putting on, sore muscles. So when I say, would the rice buddy help? That's what I was referring to. So, we might do that in just a little while. But
I've considered putting together. They have things that are you don't necessarily heat these up, but they're full of like little BBs of copper or other things. You could do it with magnets too.
I don't know. That was a trick that my chiropractor, shared with me that actually is really, really helpful. It's good for all sorts of things, including monthly pains. So for those that it would pertain to. So. Come in peace, bright eye of Horus. Come in peace. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus shines like Ra in the twin horizons, and evil hides in fear of it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus destroys the enemies of Ra in all of their abodes, till none remain. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus comes to the four corners of the world, to everyone who is tuning in with us now, and will be joining us in the future, and has been with us in the past. This eye of Horus comes, and we're all purified with it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
And we'll light our candle for Sekhmet. Ask her to bring peace and healing to everyone who needs it. There we go. And I'm also lighting our candle for Renyatet, because when we meet again, it will be after Thanksgiving. And so, as protectress of the harvest, it would be appropriate to honor her. And those of us, of course, I realize we have viewers all over the world, and this is an American thing. It's American Thanksgiving, but I like being able to incorporate a little hint of Kemetic, into that, and Renyatet just really seems to fit in well with that. So
yes, you'd be having
bless you.
cornucopia, and you'd have a snake coming out of there.
Okay, I don't have any napkins. Okay. Well, here's something interesting. By the Roman era in Egypt, they Renyatet and Aset had had fused into Isis Thermotis, and was portrayed in the same style as Demeter, holding the cornucopia. And so that was a fusion at that point in time. You had the influence from Demeter, but also Aset, being such a major goddess, to begin with, and then fusing with Renyatet to be, a Demeter-like figure, in Roman Egypt. So. Yeah. Poor thing. He will be resuming with us in a few minutes.
I think the Roman equivalent of Demeter was Ceres.
Ceres, you know, don't quote me on that. I'm sure there's some folks in the chat that would be able to answer more definitively on that. And now the funny thing is, you asked me about Near Eastern or Mesopotamian. I might be able to answer a little quicker, but it's just, what do you spend more time reading about? Okay. You arise in the Archetis Capri, O Ra, spreading your light upon the earth. You set in peace in the mountains of Manu as a tomb, bringing your light to Duat. Shine upon earth as you do in heaven and Duat. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who came from Nun at the first time, for such is your uniqueness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Hu at your left side, for such are the words you commanded. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Sia at your right side, for such is your great wisdom. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, whose Hika goes before you, for such is your ability. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who rules with Ma'at upon your brow, for such is your righteousness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, and hail and praise unto you, Sekhmet, O Jehuti, O Yenachuru, you lords of love and lords of life. Grant us life, well-being, and health. May our eyes perceive your goodness and our hearts receive your wisdom. May you shine upon us as you traverse the sky, that we may bring to you Ma'at and cast out his fet. And may you guard us from the evil one through the dark hours of the night, your protection being before us and your strength being within us. Take these, your cool waters, that are the inundation, that they may cool your hearts. Oyanachuru, these cool waters are the eye of Horus, that your hearts may be refreshed. Milk, milk, may you taste it in your shrine. May your hearts be refreshed with it. We bring you this milk from the great flood, O Yenachuru, that you may be purified with it. We give you incense great of purity. This incense is the eye of Horus, and its fragrance comes to you. It cleanses and adorns you. It takes its place upon your hands. O Yenachuru, we give to you this eye of Horus, and its fragrance comes to you. Take this, your bread on which gods live. This bread is the eye of Horus, O Yenachuru. Lift it to your faces and be at peace with it. Oops. Overflowing with offerings, including M&Ms. Tell you what, we'll also include those with our Sumerian ladies over here, Sumerian and Canaanite. Okay. The gardens prosper and Hapi rejoices, overflowing with his meal. We fill the eye of Horus for you with wine, O Ra, Sekhmet, and Jehuti, O Yenachuru. Drink and be pure. The doors of heaven and the doors of earth are open with libations for you within this house. May your faces be refreshed with your libations, your wine, and your water. Pure, pure is Ra Horeketi within his house. Pure, pure is Sekhmet the Great, mistress of Edfu, and Jehuti within his house. Excuse me. Pure are the cause of all of these gods with this good myrrh that is given. Jehuti proclaims it so. It is written in his house of sacred words. Hapi gives in abundance, thousands of offerings, all things good and pure. For Ra Horeketi, for Sekhmet, for Jehuti, in every place that their immortal cause dwell. Come to your body, O Ra Horeketi. Come to your body, O Sekhmet. Come to your body, O Jehuti. And come to your bodies, O Yunachiru. Come unto us, your servants, who are mindful of your feasts and your offerings. Come to your invocation. Bring your power, your hika, your honor, and your ba to these, your offerings. Partake of them. Okay. Come, O people. Raise these offerings before the faces of these gods. Lift the offerings before Ra, before Sekhmet, before Jehuti. All life comes from them. All health comes from them. All stability comes from them. All good fortune comes from them, as it has since the first time. Ora Horeketi and your son, the Osuranisu Nebkapurura. Your foes retreat from you. Horus turns himself to his eye. Turn yourselves to these, your offerings, and receive them from our hands. And that's something else worth pointing out, too. It is November 22nd, so that means it is the 102nd anniversary of the opening officially of Tutankhamun's tomb. The whole story about, putting a candle into an opening and peering in and, can you see anything? Yes, wonderful things. That was 102 years ago today. And obviously, we wouldn't have the setup that we do and, the banners, and we wouldn't have one of our temple patrons had it not been for that discovery. So. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of catching up here. Did we have to zap somebody here or what? Wait, hang on. Oh, focus. Yeah, this is a pagan event here. So I mean, you can listen in if you want, but save the rest of it. Okay. So now from the table of the gods to the table of our blessed dead. We'll light this candle, that it may be the eye of Horus that lights their way in Duat. And we pour these cool waters from the table of Osiris, that their hearts may be refreshed. Ta henket kakao abdus and the Tremahan. Put never not for what I had nashrim. And cow and aku punibu. Mahrunibu hirnashra. A voice offering, bread and beer, 1,000 of beef and fowl, incense, oils, and all good and pure things on which a God lives, for the cause of all of these blessed dead, all true of voice before the great God. And now we come unto you, O Ra, as Jehuti comes, our hands joined under Ma'at. Ma'at has come to be with you in every place where you are. An offering of Ma'at is made unto you, that your heart may be pleased and your Ka shall live. Truly, your Aeneid has Ma'at, for they know you live in her. The Aeneid says unto you, your word is law, eternally. This fet is cast out by your word. Rejoicing is yours every day. Ma'at has taken her place in your shrine. And may we always act with gentility and compassion, for such is the first Ma'at. May we always offer charity and hospitality, for such is the second Ma'at. May we always respect consent and fidelity, for such is the third Ma'at. May we always avoid violence and promote wellness, for such is the fourth Ma'at. May we always speak words of truth, for such is the fifth Ma'at. May we always promote the public good, for such is the sixth Ma'at. May we always act humbly and with temperance, for such is the seventh Ma'at. May we always honor our gods and respect others, for such is the eighth Ma'at. May we uphold Ma'at like Jehuti, that we may witness Ra's perfection every day. All right. Well, in answer to that, you had the Tut mania, but there was the colonialism and all those other things. Those existed before the discovery of Tut's tomb, and actually some of the worst things were being done before his tomb was found. And now we can look back on what Carter and Carnarvon were doing and say, well, you know, they had every intention of taking the entirety of Tut's tomb and bringing it to the British Museum. And in a way, you can say that even in death, you know, the Pharaoh rallied his people, you know, because the Egyptians said, no, you're not taking this, you know, out of our country. This is our king. This is our, you know, heritage. And there was actually a row, you know, over that. But to his credit, Carter doesn't get a lot of credit for the things that he did insist on. The fact that they photographed everything before they moved it. That was one of the reasons why it took so long for them to excavate the tomb, because they took pictures of everything as is. Then they went and they put a number on everything. And then they took a picture of it again, and they were using another tomb as a dark room to develop the plates for that. And then when they had the pictures, they're like, okay, now we can go and we can actually move it. And because of that, we have such a wonderful documentation of the process. And there were a lot of things that he insisted on, you know, bringing people from some of the best in their various fields to come and work on different aspects of the tomb. He called people from what was formerly called the Oriental Institute. Now it has a different name. But in Chicago and in, you know, the Metropolitan Museum, and a lot of folks that were, you know, luminaries in the field in their, you know, different aspects of it, you know, chemistry and archaeobotany and things like that. And sure, their methods at the time were not, you know, what we do now. And, you know, they basically broke apart the pharaoh's body in order to get it out of the mask, you know, and you know, the rest of it. And so they had to put him back together. Ironically, that makes him more like Osiris, because Osiris had to be put back together. But still, had they not done that, not the breaking part, had they not, done all the things that they did, we wouldn't know as much as we do. And it paved the way for better research practices that we have now, So it's easy to carp on somebody without understanding where they are in the greater perspective of things.
I would also like to take a minute to remember former President John F. Kennedy.
Oh, that's right. Yes, because today's
Today
also
is the 63rd observance of his assassination.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's also same time. And that's another funny thing. We also have to thank Kennedy, and in particular his wife Jacqueline, for pushing for support for the project that moved the temples behind the Aswan Dam, because the Abu Simbel rescue project needed support from governments all over the world, and the Kennedys were very instrumental in that. And little did we know, Jackie Kennedy was a bit of an Egyptophile herself. She actually wanted the temple that they put back together in the Met. She actually wanted it in DC, and it ended up going to the Met instead. But if you read the book about Madame Dessereau Noblecourt, she got to know Mrs. Kennedy after the fact. And the connection that they had, it's something I would never have imagined, but it was really interesting. So yeah, they did. There's if you go and you look in enough books, there are like pictures. I think like the one of his hands was separated, and so there's a photograph of that with all of the rings on it and stuff like that. It's really crazy. But I tell you, the most macabre thing for me was that exhibit we went to in Houston last year, the King Tut's Tomb Discovery Experience.
Yeah.
And they have basically a replica of his body as it looks now. That's like up on the wall, and so it's like
it's a miniature replica.
Yeah, just a little bit shorter, I think, than full scale, but it's still kind of surreal to be looking at that. Because and I think this is what separates folks like us from some of the Egyptophiles that just want to read about mummies. They want to read about dead Egyptians. We want to imagine live Egyptians. What were they like when they were alive? What was life like for them? How did they feel? And who did they pray to? That's what separates us from some of the other Egyptophiles. So with that said, let's share some prayers with those deities that they would have honored. So we'll start off with Jehuti, because in certain versions of the story where Sekhmet or another goddess goes into the desert angry, Jehuti's the one who has to bring her back. And even though he was terrified, because you have an angry lioness, and he's a nerd god. You don't send him to do, heavy lifting. But he had to go and convince her to come back home. And so we honor Jehuti, who used his intelligence and his powers of speech, and more than a little courage, to bring the goddess back home. Hail and praise unto you, O Jehuti, thrice great God, the son of Ra. Lord of Chemnu, wise one in Yunu, you report to Ra every morning. Messenger of humankind, you know people by their speech and judge them by their deeds. Those true of voice before Osir, their names are in your list. The Aeneid gives you praise as you guide the bark of millions, as you cast out the evil one, as you change strife into peace. You know all secrets, all books, all deeds, the fleeting moment, the hour of night. No report to Ra is forgotten. Your words endure for eternity. Friend of the people, wise and impartial, Great One, Lord of Ma'at. And a little something for Sekhmet. This is it's in my notes here, so it's not a complete hymn yet. But these are all taken. These are epithets of hers from the different statues that they found of her in Thebes. And if you'll recall, there were 2 for every day of the year originally. And among those titles, we have Hail, O Sekhmet, the good eye who makes the 2 lands live. Sekhmet, great of plans, of many faces, mistress of Karnak, mistress of the ways, mistress of food and offerings, sweet of life. Sekhmet, who commands the east, mistress of the thrones of the 2 lands, who goes forth, mistress of what is, courageous, mistress of goddesses, mistress of thrones, the mistress of the twin acacias, mistress of high noon, mistress of fear, united with Mut, the reconciler, the great, beloved of her lord, mistress of the frontiers, queen who is at the top of her pillar. Hail unto you, O Sekhmet.
I like that they included that one epithet in there where it says united with Moot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when you consider...
That kind of helps some people who might be confused. They're like, wait, isn't Moot supposed to be the mother goddess? It's like, well, Sekhmet and Moot were kind of interchangeable.
Well, they were definitely combined in the Theban area, and Hatshepsut is thought to have done a lot to promote that connection between the two, and so that's why you had a Feast of Drunkenness. You know, you had observations of that at the Temple of Mut at Isheru, you know, in front of her lake in Thebes. And
yeah, let's see the correlation.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, because Mut could act as the eye of Ra, you know, that's you have a lot of deities that can act in that capacity. So
now, whenever you were doing the prayer for Tote, I was realizing also there are parts of a myth that are where they combine Shu with on her.
On her, yeah.
And then on her goes after Tefnut.
Yeah. And you know, here's another funny thing. I think there's a variation of that actually at Esna. Because you had Khnum and Neat, and then there was a little need of deities around them. Some of them are very obscure. But there is a lioness goddess there. So I think a lot of it was you had just different regions, you know, would have different deities that would act in similar capacities. And so that's why it seems kind of confusing to us now. Well, that's because, you know, not everybody was on Twitter sharing the same stuff. So, yeah. But I guess if we want to offer our toasts, I have, you know, my mug of coffee, and other folks had different things to drink. And so we will share this in honor of the goddess who returns home happy and satisfied, and you know, not wanting to kill us. So.
Yeah. Like all children want their mother to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Newt. Okay, now we're actually talking about Newt with an M. Newt, actually, I think there's something for Shu coming up, and then there is something for Newt a little later on. But yeah, the goddess Moot, she will be having a sailing, I think, later in the month, because the month of Tibet gets its name from a feast at the end of it, which would have been about mid-December, and that was a feast centering around Moot in the Theban area. And of course, there were some things that became popularized all over, especially when the royal residents moved from Thebes up to Pyrameses, Avaris, and so they set up things. So there was a temple of Amun and Mut there, and so some of the same trappings from Thebes kind of got moved up there too. But then they also had, of course, things for Set, because that was, in Avaris, that was a town where he was pretty popular as well. But,
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and do our cookies. And by the way, you might notice I have a little palm frond here. Well, not so little, because it's in a vase on the floor. But this is from my Majesty palm, which it's 12 years old and still going very strong. But story behind that, let me see if I can kind of just like, okay, there we go. That was something that I actually did for a Mesopotamian ritual over the weekend. I was kind of testing it out to see how it would work. And you might have heard about the sacred marriage, that deities would have, and especially between Inanna and, of course, her divine spouse is Dumuzi, but, there are love poems, erotic hymns, basically, written about Inanna that pose the reigning king as her spouse. And so over the years, there were a lot of scholars that were like, well, was somebody getting their freak on, and was somebody standing in as Inanna? And, so that idea captivated people for decades. Well, somebody said, well, hey, wait a minute. We have all these reliefs showing somebody pouring water into a vase with a palm frond sticking out of it. What if that's the sacred marriage? And we've been staring at this all along. And it was something really mundane, because especially when the high priestess that might have been standing in was the king's own daughter, which sometimes was the case, they couldn't do that. So it's like, we have to explain this more rationally, people, and that was the thinking. So a vase with water, and you're pouring water or beer into it, and you have if you've ever been at a Wiccan shindig and they do the great rite with the chalice and the
what I was
thame.
about to say. Yes, yeah. The great rite.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Sumerian version of the great rite. And next year I will have a book out that will detail that and explain more about it. So, something to
mention the spiritual.
yeah. So, that's something to look forward to next year. Yeah, let's do our cookies now. And we'll start with a cookie for everyone. So if there's anyone who's been tuning in patiently up to this point, and hopefully this has been buffering a lot faster than that Netflix fight. But this cookie's for everyone. And it says, let go of worries and embrace peace this Wednesday, which is the day before Thanksgiving. So I think that might be their message to, in the midst of the hustle and bustle, those of us that are here in the U.S. that are going to be getting ready for Thanksgiving, getting the turkey thawed and all that stuff. They're telling us, hey, chill out, take a break. Don't let it get to you.
Yeah.
So let go of worries and embrace peace this Wednesday. It will be time to rest.
I will be looking for a cookie too later.
Alrighty.
Oh.
Well, tell you what, we'll pull those last, and of course, the Discord cookies, we'll get those after we, get everyone else to make sure that we go through and don't keep anybody waiting.
In a couple of hours, I will be a year older.
Depending on what time zone you're in, you already are.
Alright. Okay. So we're going to start with Serana and then Threlo and then Teso Arts from Hathor. So starting with Serana. Keep an open heart and a keen eye for opportunities. They are all around you. Serana, keep an open heart and a keen eye for opportunities. They are all around you. So that was Serana. Threlo, and then Teso. Threlo. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. So Threlo, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. And the sense I'm getting is that the experience is more valuable, and you need that more than what you want that you don't get. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Yeah, Teso Arts is asking for Hathor. Another Eye of Ra. Ask her to lend some wisdom. This month, focus on your inner peace and tranquility. So Teso, this month, focus on your inner peace and tranquility. We're trying to keep them lined up, so if we have to go back, they'll be in order. So, and we have a super sticker, thank you. Alrighty, Kyle Hinojosa, then I ate the Antichrist.
Give someone some massive indigestion.
Huh?
Eating the Antichrist is going to give somebody some indigestion.
Well, there's also the very old concept of eating your enemies and taking on their power. And think about it like the hippo cake, for the Feast of Victory. So you can think of it that way too. But Kyle Hinojosa, being sensitive to other people is important today. Being sensitive to other people is important today. So be aware of other people. I'm getting the sense that there are people that might be unable to tell you some things, so you're going to have to pay attention and be intuitive to pick up on what they can't say, but maybe want to say or need to say. So being sensitive to other people is important today. Kyle Hinojosa, that was for you. And now that I ate the Antichrist. What are you talking about? There we go. Explore your own creativity through various outlets. So after you've maybe washed down the Antichrist with some milk, explore your own creativity through various outlets. Okay. So Deadeye Coffee Witch from Raw. And then B, please hoping for some advice regarding an IRL family situation. Oh, Gabriel. Hey, guys. Sorry I missed the first part. Good to be here now, though. It's pausing a lot on my end. Oh, yeah. Well, Gabriel, we were making some jokes.
Jake Paul fight's trying to come through.
Yeah. We were making jokes at the start of it because, hopefully it's not buffering as badly as that Netflix fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was, because we didn't even get to see it live. Darren had to rewind the stream and then, let it play. So we watched it about 20 minutes after it had actually happened. So we understand. But hang on. Yes, Deadeye Coffee Witch asking from Raw. So from the boss. Is, I like to call him around here.
Hey balls.
Huh?
Hey balls.
Oh, God. Yeah. Our adopted son introduced us to Filthy Frank. That was some crazy stuff. Only in a big city could you get away with doing some of those YouTube stunts. An unexpected encounter with your close friend will bring joy. So, Deadeye Coffee Witch, an unexpected encounter with your close friend will bring joy. Okay, and then B, yes, got family situation going on and asking for some advice. So, B, teach yourself by exploring the old and deducing the new. Now, you had asked about a family situation, and it says, teach yourself by exploring the old and deducing the new. What is the best indicator of the future?
The past. In other words, whatever they did before, they're going to do again. You have to do something different for you. You can't change anyone in this situation but you.
Teach yourself by exploring the old and deducing the new. So, B, that's your message for the week. Oh, and I get the sense that they're also saying, remember, let go of worries and embrace peace on this Wednesday. And, of course, the irony, of course, is that Thanksgiving and Christmas are supposed to be holidays when family gets together and all that. And, of course, it can also add a lot of stress and misery, because then you have to put up with people, that you can't stand them, the other 364 days of the year, but, suddenly you're all supposed to get under one roof and make nice. Yeah, good luck with that. And I have to confess, I wonder if other major holidays that are parallel to that, in other cultures, like, for example, Diwali, that's when families are supposed to get together and share a feast and all that. But I wonder, do families that celebrate Diwali sometimes have to share the same kind of stress that like we do for Christmas? If you look at the numbers, it's got to be the case somewhere. And so,
you mean it's possible that other families outside of the grandeur of the United States may not like each other?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well,
ponder that for a minute.
Oh, well, again, something else that I point out in my book is we know that Mesopotamian families didn't all get along because we have too many records of divorce contracts or divorces and property dispersal and inheritance disputes.
And
That
of course,
suggest
Egypt too.
yeah. So people are people the world over, and
Exactly. That's what I was getting at too.
yes. So for everybody that has to put up with, family, at the holidays, what you have, kindred spirits, that are, sharing the moment with you, I guess. But Ashley Spradley from Sekhmet and Anpu, and when I saying, please, I have an intuition that I need to ask specifically for wisdom, so hopefully I'll know where to apply it. Okay. Alrighty.
If the cookie comes up, don't be stupid. I'm gonna laugh.
Hang on. Zup to P Slim. Shout out to Saba Tahuki Aman. Bra. Okay. And then of course Mary Wep what? And hang on, let me catch up and see. Okay. Hang on. Oh, again, one eye is like, should I be glad I don't know who Filthy Frank is? I don't know. It depends on your brand of humor, because I saw some of that, and there were some things in it that I thought, out of context, this would be horrifying. But other things he did, like he actually does one where he's picking on people who are otakus because he is Japanese and American by descent, and so he does a video where he brilliantly picks on weeaboos. Actually, is what it was, weeaboos. But that was really fun. But he has like different little characters that he does, and there's this one that he gets in like this pink suit and just peeks around a corner and says crazy things like "Hey, boss," and so that's what Darren was referring to. So, Ashley Spradley from Sekhmet and from Anpu. Ashley Spradley, may your life be a testament to the beauty of blessings. May your life be a testament to the beauty of blessings. Now, the sense I got from that is you're going to get some blessings. Make the best use of them that you can. Make that the testament to the beauty of blessings, that you make the most of what you're going to be blessed with.
And the first thing you do when you start that process is look around you and find the blessings you didn't know you had.
Okay, but Ashley Spradley, that was for you. May your life be a testament to the beauty of blessings. And one eye asking for wisdom.
I'd ask for a second eye.
Oh well, that's a reference. You realize that's a reference to Odin.
I am. I do.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Now my friend my friend Jennifer, who was in the Kemetic Orthodox and was the one that introduced me to it, she actually had a bag that somebody had made about it had the Eye of Horus on it, and it said it's always funny until somebody loses an eye. Yeah, so anyway. There is only one success: to be able to live your life in your own way. So one eye, there is only one success: to be able to live your life in your own way. And it's funny, I get kind of reminded of that too sometimes, because especially when you have family members that are more financially well off, and they're like, well, if you were more normal, did things a different way, then you'd be more successful too. Well, you know what? This is saying, when you live life your own way, on your own terms, that's success. It's not what it looks like, it's what it is for you. It's not what it looks like to them. So hopefully that helps. So Mary Wet from the Jackals. And then Gabriel. Cosmic Flow. And yeah, found $10 at the beach and was thinking about Horse and Anubis before I found it. Hey, that's awesome. But yes, so we're asking for our Jackals. So Anapu and Wet. We're married to Wet. Married to Wet. Be indifferent to snide remarks. Be indifferent to snide remarks. So I think they're telling you, remember, I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. But be indifferent to snide remarks. Again, especially with those holidays coming. And I know for you it would be, Christmas coming up and Boxing Day. So, okay. Let's see. Okay, hi Omega Rift. How was I brought here on this day? Don't know. Well, one thing that I have observed, because Jehuti, who's better known as Toth, he's the god of wisdom, mathematics, science, writing. I think cyberspace would be his domain now. And so, he certainly has fun in cyberspace, and he might have decided to bring you over here so we could say hi. So, if anyone else has a request for a cookie, anybody that I missed, let me know, and we'll get that in. And I'll get yours once we wrap up. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so Omega. So Omega Rift would like a cookie. Alrighty. Okay. Exciting projects are coming your way. So, Omega Rift, exciting projects are coming your way. And I always wonder if that was from Jehuti himself. I've got surprises for you. Who knows? But okay, and I see. Okay, yeah, that was for. Omega, awesome. Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Of course, if anyone has a request for prayers or for another cookie, just let me know. We don't end the stream until we've got. Okay, so I tell you what, we'll go ahead and we'll get Yamanu's, and I'll set one aside for setup because she had requested over the chat. Yep. Okay. Your friend will lead you to new and exciting experiences.
interesting.
Your friend lead you to new and exciting experiences.
I would also like a prayer done for my cat Kane.
Yes.
He's healthy still.
Huh?
He's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
He's not dead or anything, but he's in a slow
decline. Yeah, because he's an older kitty, isn't he?
Yes, he's. Oh, I think we got him around 2009.
Yeah, he's 15-year-old kitty.
Yeah, he's like 15 or 16 years old now.
Yeah. Well, I have an 11 and a 12-year-old duck, so I can appreciate that. And they're okay right now, but I realize that one day they won't be here anymore, but we don't love them any less. We don't love any of our pets any less, no matter how old they are. So we ask Lady Bass to look over Kane, one of her children, who's been with us a long time and has served Bast and his people very well, and ask that when his day of mourning comes, that it be peaceful and that he puts in a good word for his people. So okay, and I'm looking for a prayer of abundance and safety for all that walk with me on the path of understanding self. And let's see. Okay, Katie Horton. Okay, let's go ahead and get a cookie for you. And I get a feeling that set was like, oh yeah. Cookie for Katie. A journey of personal growth is coming close. So, Katie Horton, a journey of personal growth is coming close. All right. And tell you what, one of the things that I'll read before we wrap up is a Kemetic grace before meals for everyone that will be sharing a meal next week, with friends and loved ones and family who may not necessarily be loved ones, and some that are. But either way, O Sekhmet of yesterday, O Wajit of today, we praise you, for you have filled this table, even as you fill the table of your father Ra. Protect us with your Waj scepter of life, in your name of Wajit. Defend us from evil, as you defend Ra from evil, in your name of Sekhmet. We are yours as Horus is yours, made whole for life. And in Hail unto you, Atum. Hail unto you, Khepri. You come into being upon the primeval hill. You shine forth upon the shrine of the phoenix in Yunu. You breathe out Shu and Tefnut. May the giving of these offerings endure, as the name of Atum, foremost of the great Enid, endures. May they endure as the name of Shu, Lord of Upper Menset in Yunu, endures. As the name of Tefnut, Mistress of Lower Menset in Yunu, endures. As the name of Geb at the Earth's Ba endures. As the name of Newt in the shrine of Shanit in Yunu endures. As the name of Osir, Kentiamentiu endures. As the name of Asset in the Cheru endures. As the name of Sutek in Nibet endures. As the name of Horus in Pei endures. As the name of Wajit in Dep endures. As the name of Jehuti in Chemenu endures. As the name of Ra in the Akhet endures likewise for eternity. You've come in peace, O Ra. You've come in peace, O Sekhmet. O Jehuti, you've come in peace, O Yenachuru. May you go forth in peace, O Ra, Sekhmet, Jehuti. May you go forth in peace, O Yenachuru, to every place your immortal cause wish to be. May you sail in joy in the Manjet bark and rest content in the Sektet bark. And may you smile upon us, your humble servants. All righty. Well, thank you guys for being here. And so glad everybody could join us. And sharing your Friday night with us. Everyone have a great weekend. If I can type it out. Safe and well. And remember, we do these at 8:30 Central, thereabouts, every Friday night. Now, the first weekend in December, I'm going to have to pre-tape something. So, because we're going to be going to a disability expo. So we'll have plenty to tell you about after the fact, but we'll have something pre-taped for that.
Yeah.
I'll see us next week.
Same cat time.
Mm-hmm. And Omega Rift, I think it's really awesome that you just happened upon this, and we're glad you were able to join us and get something good out of it. So, glad to have you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and lots of love, everybody, and see you next week, okay?
Take care, everyone.
Mm-hmm.